Hey guys, what's up? Philly FC here, and today we're going to be talking about England's next goalkeeper, or at least who should be playing the next major tournament. I've got some stats in front of me. We're going to be looking at three goalkeepers. Honourable mention, I'd say, goes to Ben Foster, who I wanted to include, but due to his age, I don't think he's a realistic option for Southgate, unfortunately. We're going to be looking at Nick Pope, Jordan Pickford, and Dean Henderson. I have some stats in front of me. We're going to go through it, and we're just going to ready to talk about it and discuss what we reckon. So, we'll start with appearances. All very similar, as the goalkeepers. Most goalkeepers have very similar appearances. Nick Pope and Jordan Pickford both played 29 games. Dean Henderson 27. So, there's not a lot into it. Pointless stat in my opinion. The ones we're going to start to get into, however, clean sheets. Now, Nick Pope has the most clean sheets with 11. Jordan Pickford has the least with 6. And Henderson has 10. So just behind Nick Pope. Now, clean sheets aren't everything, okay? Often it can depend on the defence you have in front of you, but it helps alongside other stats. And how I mean by this, also on here I have goals conceded, so it can kind of help us calculate if they regularly concede goals or if they concede a lot of goals all at once. Now, if they concede a lot of goals all at once, that can definitely be a problem in its own ways. If they concede few goals but a consistent amount of time, depending on what the strike force ahead of you has, which England have a fairly good one, they tend to score a lot of goals. Then it can kind of counter it. You can win games like 2-1, 3-1, 3-2. But if you concede like 3, 4 goals a game, then you can't really outscore it, not on a regular basis. So Nick Pope has the most clean sheets. Goals conceded. Now, much like clean sheets, this has a lot to do with the team you play in. Now, Nick Pope has 40 goals conceded, okay, which is not the best or the worst, which is interesting because he has the best clean sheet record, okay, so we'll go into that in a minute. Jordan Pickford has the worst for goals conceded at 46. So he's conceded the most goals and he's got the least clean sheets. Straight away, that is screaming warning signs to me. Dean Henderson has the least goals conceded. We're staggering 22 goals. That's all he's conceded, 22 goals. Okay. Now, right there, that still don't tell us the whole story. We need to go through the rest of it. So, the saves that they've made, Nick Pope has made the most saves with 82. John Pickford just behind on 75, so not much less. And Dean Henderson 69 with the least amount of saves. So what we're seeing here is Nick Pope. He has the most clean sheets and he's made the most saves, but he hasn't had the least goals conceded. Jordan Pickford, absolutely useless at shot stopping. Least clean sheets, most goals conceded, and average amount of saves. Whereas Dean Henderson's had the second most and second least clean sheets, least goals conceded, and the least saves. So then moving on to save percentage, Nick Pope has a 69 save percentage, which is good. It is good for a goalkeeper. Not fantastic, but it's one of the best in the league currently. Jordan Pickford, I believe, has the second from worst, which is 62%. And he's got the worst in this list. But the best is Dean Henderson, again, 76% save percentage, which is brilliant. Moving on to errors. Now, Nick Pope has made 2, Jordan Pickford 3, and Dean Henderson's made 1 error. So that's brilliant, and I believe that error was against Liverpool, if I'm not mistaken, and that did cost them the game. Um, anyhow, now we're gonna go with passes per game, like we know of England, because we've got to judge this off of England, obviously, because well, that's the team they're gonna be playing for, so they need to play with their style. England have more or less adapted the more tiki-taka style. They like to pass a lot more and pass from the back. Not to the same degree as Pep Guardiola per se, but they're trying to implement that sort of style of play. So passing's also going to be a very important stat. Now, once again, it depends on the team you're in. So the passes per game don't really mean much. It's more the pass completion that we'll get onto in a minute. But just for heaven's sake, Nick Pope makes 26.5 passes a game. Jordan Pickford 30.9, and Dean Henderson 25.7. So already you can tell because Everton like to pass on the back a lot more than the likes of Burnley and Sheffield United. Now we go into the pass completion. Nick Pope has 37% pass completion, which is average for this list. The best goes to Jordan Pickford, who has a 57% pass completion, but as you can probably imagine, a lot of those are playing from the back as well, just passing to your centre-backs, full-backs, and whatnot. The worst is Dean Henderson with 35%. So, we've now gone through all the stats that I'm willing to go through. And what this is kind of telling me is things that we already know. If you want to play out from the back, passer off the ball, Jordan Pickford is by far away the best one at doing that. Okay. However, he's got the most errors in him. He's not the best shot stopper. So, if you were to pick Jordan Pickford, he would maintain the possession for you. But when it comes to shots against you, he perhaps would not be the best goalkeeper. So if I was to play Jordan Pickford, the only games which I'd play him in are games that you're trying to dominate possession. So if I was playing Spain, I would not play Jordan Pickford. Plain and simple. I'd play him against lower opposition. Okay, so their quality of shots are not as great, so hopefully it won't cause them as much trouble because he'll have less chance of making an error or not making the save because there'll be less shots against him. But he'll help maintain the possession so England can control the game. However, obviously if we want to go far in the cup, that's not going to serve us well. What I am noticing is here, Nick Pope for his entire video has not had the worst stat in any of these. Okay, he's not been the worst pass completion, passes per game, errors, save percentage, saves, goals conceded, anything. He's not had the worst in anything. He's been average through most of it, and he's had the most saves and clean sheets. So, what that's telling me right there is Nick Pope, he seems like a steady, safe pair of hands. Dean Henderson, however, he's not got much less pass completion than Pope. The thing that does worry me most about him is he's very young. Okay, so he's gonna lack that experience, but that's the same for all of these. I think Nick Pope's the oldest. Don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure he is. I think he's like 26, even though he's so young for a goalkeeper. He's had the least errors, but perhaps he's had the least chances of making an error with his 69 saves. Considering he doesn't have a lot of shots against him, but he saves the ball 76% of the time. It's a hard one. Now, I'll tell you who I'm edging towards. I'll give my reasons in a minute, but Nick Pope, I'm edging towards him. And the reason, seriously being, is because he's not particularly bad at anything. He's the oldest one, so he's got the most experience. I believe he was in the England setup not long ago. But, and it's a big but, it's a hard choice between him and Dean Henderson. I would not pick Jordan Pickford. He's got too many errors in him. as we've seen throughout the entire season, and the season before that. In my opinion, he's never been a good goalkeeper. Even his time at Sunderland, I was never convinced he was a great goalkeeper. I think he was just chucked in there, and because the amount of shots Sunderland had against them, he was made to look good. So I don't think I would not have him anywhere near that England team. Maybe as a third choice. Even though I'd bring Ben Foster. I would. I'd bring Ben Foster. I really would. But the argument to be made here is Dean Henderson and Nick Pope. Dean Henderson, he's had a great season. He has. But this is his first top flight season. And that does worry me. And he's been behind a rock of a defence. And obviously with him never playing for England before. I don't think he's got an England cap. Please don't quote me. But for him never playing for England before, he won't understand their style of play. Whereas, like I said, I believe Nick Pope has. So whilst he's obviously more used to Burnley's style of play, he also knows what to do in the England setup. So, I'd go Nick Pope. I really would, in my opinion. Now, I'm not saying he's the best goalkeeper of the three. I'm saying if I was England manager right now, Jordan Pickford has the most experience, right? But Nick Pope has never really been terrible. He's been good this season. Most clean sheets in the league, so he knows what it takes to keep clean sheets. It's a bit worrying that he's conceded 40 goals, which is only 6 less than Jordan Pickford's. So what that means is, in the 18 games he conceded goals, he conceded 40, which means he conceded on average 2 points something or other a game. And that worries me, because that means we'd have to be looking to score about 3 a game, and you're not always going to score that. But that could somewhat be to do with Burnley's defence in general. The fact that he keeps a lot of clean sheets and he saves the shot 69% of the time. Now, what I want to look up then, well, I won't be able to find it, but England national team in general, we need to figure out how many shots that they allow on target on their goal through the average game. Because what this is telling me is, if I picked Nick Pope, he's going to save, 69 out of 100 shots, okay? Now, obviously, I don't think England's going to have 100 shots on their goal. Not through the whole tournament. I think it's much more realistic to say about 50. Okay, if I'm being honest, just off the top of my head. So, what that would then mean is he would concede in the tournament, if it was 50 shots on target, he'd concede about 15 to 16 goals in the tournament. Which, it's not great, is what I'm saying. It's not great. If I went for Dean Henderson, based off his current save percentage, if he also played the same number of games, he would concede about 12 goals in 50 games. Which is feasible. It's a few less, but those few less goals could mean the world. But I'm still edging towards Nick Pope, and I think that is going to be the one I stick with. In my opinion, I think Nick Pope, I think he should go and be number 1. He plays for Burnley, which I believe gives him a good mixture. Now, he's not shielded like Dean Henderson from, shots and whatnot. He does have to deal with a lot more shots, and the expansive way England are now playing, he's going to need to be able to deal with that. And I think he's the best. I mean, Dean Henderson, he's going to be great. Say England were a very defensive team, or at least didn't have a lot of shots on goal. I think it'd be great because he doesn't lose his concentration, so he's ready for when a shot comes about, which is great. It's absolutely brilliant. But England, I think, have enough shots to warrant Nick Pope being available, who also has great concentration, but he's going to be ready for those. All sorts of different shots, because whereas Burnley defend a bit deeper, Sheffield United, I do apologise, Sheffield United, they defend better than what Burnley has this season. And they've played a lot better, obviously. They've been winning games. But I think Nick Pope has what it takes, and I would put him as number one. Experience, like I said, he's not the worst in any of those anyway, the key stats that I've put up. One stat I would have liked to have seen is expected goals. Now, I love the expected goal stat, because that really tells you, in my opinion, how good a keeper or striker is. But trying to find ones for the keeper is unbelievably hard. I could not find it anywhere, but I really wanted to. But yeah, I think that is my opinion. I'd love to hear your guys' opinions on the matter, because obviously this is one position that has been heavily contested for England. And whilst we don't have the keepers that we used to have, I was going to name some of them, but my mind went blank. But like Peter Sheldon and all that, we haven't got the same level of keepers anymore. So it's mainly picking like a good goalkeeper out of an average bunch, and I do think all these keepers are average. I'm not saying Freddie Make, Nick Pope, Dean Henderson, John Pitt. I'm not saying any of them are world class. I think they're all extremely average. I think at best they're upper mid table, or at least Dean Henderson, Nick Pope. I don't think they'd get into a top 6 side. When you really think about it, compare these keepers to, Stegen, Neuer, Buffon of later years. I mean, Buffon's still right now, but he's not at his best. We are really poor on the goalkeeping position, and I do think our best bet at the minute, rather than playing pretty football, which all these would be able to play, I'd like a safe pair of hands at the back, because England aren't going to have a load of shots against them. So with that being the case, you'd want them to save the shots they do have. So yeah, I think Nick Pope only just edges it because of his experience over Dean Henderson. Maybe give Dean Henderson a year or two, or if he got into United team, and he did dislodge De Gea, which I think is every bit possible because I don't rate him. Unpopular opinion, but I do not rate De Gea at all. If Dean Henderson locks down that United position, I think he's going to be England's number one for many years. The unfortunate thing is, when making this video, I wished I could have put Jack Butland in. He's had a bad season in Championship, but the Championship, I believe, makes you look bad. Because the style of football it's played, it's no longer pretty football and whatnot. Things that play at the top level, it's a lot more football. And I think it's made him look a lot worse than he actually is. I think he needed to leave Stoke. I think if he had done, moved to a side in the Premier League, I think he would have overtaken Jordan Pickford and became England's number one. I don't think we would have been having this debate. But no, for me, final answer is Nick Pope. He should be England's number one. I don't think he will be. I'm just putting that out there. I think that he's going to stick with Pickford. He's not even been in the conversation for me. He is horrendous. He's error prone. He can't save any. He can't save AV. He's a terrible shot stopper. Yeah, he plays from the back. But what can you do? Anyhow, I hope you guys have enjoyed the different format we've gone for here. And if you have enjoyed, please leave some suggestions. I'd love to talk about it. I'm fairly knowledgeable when it comes to football, and I love to talk about these sort of things. Anyway, stay safe. I'll see you next one. Bye bye.